Before the echoes of sirens faded into the crisp morning air, Ethan had no idea that in just a few days, he would be the one bringing that sound to Cedar Street. And when it came, nothing in their carefully constructed family life would ever be the same. The morning sun filtered through dusty blinds in Lily's bedroom, casting striped shadows across her unmade bed. She stood before her mirror, tugging at the sleeves of yet another oversized sweater, ensuring they covered her wrists completely. At 12 years old, she was already mastering the art of invisibility. "Lily. You're going to be late." Grace's voice carried up the stairs, tinged with the familiar stress of a working mother juggling too much. "Richard's leaving in 10 minutes. At the mention of her stepfather's name, Lily's stomach clenched. Grabbing her backpack, weighted down by books she hadn't been able to focus on the night before, she trudged downstairs. In the kitchen, Ethan sat at the table, his small legs swinging as he spooned cereal into his mouth. His Spider-Man backpack rested beside him, ready for the day ahead. "There you are," Grace said, rushing past with a travel mug of coffee. "Richard's giving you both a ride since I have an early shift." Lily mumbled something about not being hungry as she avoided her mother's concerned gaze. Out of the corner of her eye, she caught Ethan watching her. His young face was serious, he seemed to notice everything these days. "You need to eat properly," Richard interjected from his position by the counter. His tone carried an edge that only Lily and Ethan seemed to hear. "Especially since you quit soccer. Getting lazy isn't going to help your grades improve." Grace frowned, pausing mid-stride. "You quit soccer? When did this happen?" "Last week," Lily muttered, studying the floor. "I just didn't want to play anymore." "But you love soccer," Grace protested. "You've been playing since you were 6. "Kids change," Richard cut in smoothly, though his words dripped with thinly veiled criticism. Though the timing could be better, considering her recent academic performance. He checked his watch. "We need to get going. I have a faculty meeting this morning." The drive to school was tense, filled only with the hum of morning radio and Ethan's occasional humming from the back seat. Lily pressed herself against the passenger door, trying to make herself as small as possible. As they pulled up to the elementary school first, she felt Richard's hand grip her knee. "Remember what we talked about," he said quietly while Ethan gathered his things. "No more embarrassing behavior. You're better than that, aren't you?" Lily nodded mutely, relief flooding through her as Ethan opened his door. But her little brother paused before getting out. "Lily," he said hesitantly, "will you come to my class's art show next week? I made something cool." Before Lily could respond, Richard answered for her. "Your sister needs to focus on bringing up her grades, champ. Maybe another time." The look of disappointment on Ethan's face made Lily's heart ache. She waited until he'd closed the door before whispering, "I'll try to come." "What was that?" Richard's voice hardened as they pulled away from the elementary school. "Nothing," Lily said quickly, but Richard's hand tightened on the steering wheel. "Don't mumble. It's disrespectful. Just like your attitude lately. You think I enjoy getting emails from your teachers? Having to explain to my colleagues why my stepdaughter is performing so poorly?" They were approaching her middle school now, but instead of pulling up to the drop-off zone, Richard turned into the teacher's parking lot, finding a secluded spot. "Look at me when I'm talking to you," he demanded, turning in his seat. Lily forced herself to meet his gaze, trembling despite her efforts to stay composed. "You're making me look bad, Lily. Making your mother worry. Is that what you want?" "No," she whispered. "Then shape up. No more D's. No more attitude. No more sulking around the house like some victim." His voice dripped with contempt. "You're pathetic, you know that? A pathetic little girl who can't even manage basic schoolwork. Now get out. And remember, one word to anyone about our private conversations, and things will get much worse. Understand?" Lily nodded, fumbling with her seatbelt and practically falling out of the car in her haste to escape. She hurried across the parking lot, conscious of Richard watching her. Other students streamed past, laughing and talking, while teachers greeted each other with cheerful morning pleasantries. No one seemed to notice the girl in the oversized sweater clutching her books to her chest like armor. In her first period English class, Lily tried to focus on The Giver, her favorite book from last year. But the words swam before her eyes as Mrs. Patterson discussed themes of conformity and silence. When called upon to participate, Lily's voice came out barely above a whisper, prompting snickers from some classmates. "Lily, please speak up," Mrs. Patterson said kindly. "We'd love to hear your thoughts." But Lily's throat had closed up entirely. She shook her head, shrinking into her seat as Mrs. Patterson moved on with a concerned glance. Once, Lily had loved this class, raising her hand eagerly to discuss the books she devoured at home. Now, her beloved novels sat untouched on her shelves, replaced by the growing knot of anxiety in her stomach. During lunch, she found a quiet corner of the library and pulled out her math homework. The D on her last test felt like it was burning a hole in her backpack. She had always struggled with algebra, but lately, the numbers seemed impossible to grasp. Her mind constantly scattered with worry about what mood Richard would be in when she got home. "Hey, Lily," a soft voice interrupted her thoughts. It was Sophie, her best friend since 4th grade. "We missed you at practice."